You know, Tyler, right now is such a hard time for so many companies, and they really have to rely on video and marketing to get their voices heard during the middle of all this craziness. And we are lucky to have two guys with us here on the show, Andre Foster and Guy Allen. They are co-founders and partners for First Fight, and it's an animation company here in Detroit. Great to have you both with us.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
How'd you two team up?
Andre, you want me to tell him?
It sounds like there's a story behind that laugh.
Well, we've been partners for a long, long time. We used to work together at a different studio in the city for 10 years at least. So we've known each other for a real long time. And we got to a point in our career where we decided it was smart to just kind of step out and do our own thing. Like I said, we've known and trusted each other for forever. So that's kind of how we started.
So, Andre, tell us about your company. What makes the two of you stand out?
Well, I like to think that, what we do as far as animation studio has a little bit of a different style to it. I like to call it swag. So I think with a lot of the studios, animation studios, especially here in Detroit locally, I think what makes us different is, our take on different things and different projects. And I think not some, but mostly all of our clients see that there is a difference between how we approach their problem or how we solve their problem with animation and our different spin on it.
So, it seemed years ago there was going to be this huge market for animation and other companies such as yours related to the film industry. But then all those tax credits went away and the film industry fizzled out. How have you two been able to market your company without that film industry behind you?
Well, I think and that was a real big letdown too, because I was really excited about the possibility of doing stuff for film, or actually more stuff or more content for film. So when that whole thing kind of went away, I was really disappointed. But I think even from then, I think we kind of redefined in terms of how we can show our work and who we can work for. And I think the best thing about especially the last year, we found that we don't necessarily have to fly out somewhere. We don't have to leave out of our, our state, where we are with the power of Zoom and reaching out to people, which has become way, way better. We've been able to, really just find different markets, different clients who like what we do. And again, like I said, they have different problems that we want to try to solve, and they try to come to us to, put a different spin on it.
Guy, if I can bring you back into the conversation for a moment, what's the talent pool here in the Detroit area for you and your team to try to find people with the skills that you need?
The talent pool is fantastic. I feel we've run into the problem where a lot of these guys end up going to LA. But Andre and I have really been focusing on trying to get into the schools and show some of these younger students, like, you could stay here, you can have a career here in Detroit. There's places like us, and there's a few others where people can go and be creative and actually get a job doing animation. We're sponsoring a class at CCS right now. They've got an amazing entertainment illustration program, an animation program. So we're kind of working with them to let them know, like, hey, you don't have to go to, Nickelodeon or wherever, or Disney in LA. You can work here and do the same type of stuff. So,
yeah.
So is that where the two of you met? What's your background? Where'd you go to school?
Yeah, I went to CCS way back in the good old days. I think I graduated in 2001. I started in illustration there, and Andre was at CCS as well, but I think he might be, he looks great, but he might be a little bit older than me. So
yeah, just a little bit.
So what is the future for this industry for people that are right here in Detroit?
Andre or me? Who do you want?
Guy, you can go ahead, you're up.
Well, I think the future's bright. I mean, when COVID hit, it kind of shocked everybody, and things kind of fell off for a little bit. But I think that everybody has learned that we can do everything from home, and we've been blessed that with what we do, we don't have to have like live action crews here and there. People, if they want an animation done, they can come to us and we can get it done here, fast, cheap, and it's good. I mean, there's endless possibilities with animation. We can do anything. So,
yeah. I wouldn't say cheap though.
Well, I mean, compared to like a full film crew and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre Foster and Guy Allen with us here on the MegaCast. They are co-founders and partners for the Detroit animation studio First Fight. Andre, if we can go back to you for just a second here, what types of skills does it take to be successful in your business?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, doing what we do, it requires a lot of skills and a lot of. You basically have to know a lot of different things. I think at the end of the day, if you really have the passion for this sort of thing, for animation, for design, for anything that, any creative endeavor, I mean, definitely having a passion is what you're definitely going to need. And I think too, who you are as a person and how you relate to people, I think that's key too, because nobody wants to work with anybody who's a diva or is really hard to get along with. So I think having people skills and social skills, being able to collaborate with people, I think that's a definite skill that you have to have in this industry.
The younger generation, though, when you say, divas or people, I think of like this younger generation, especially some of the people going into news right now. You're like, wow, you never would have made it in the old school news days. Like, holy cow, they like to go down and complain about everything. It's like, But you guys are a small company. How many people work for you, or do you do a lot of freelancers?
We have a combination of both. We have 5 people that comprise of First Fight. And then we have a lot of, we call them permalancers, people that we use a lot, who are freelance. And we have about 2 or 3 of those that we work with. So we're pretty small. We like to think of ourselves as nimble, and we can scale up when we need to, depending on what the project is. But we have the core people that we have is what we really, for the most part, roll with most of the time.
Guy, if we can go back to you for just a second, you had mentioned that you're trying to get into the schools to, open this world up to some of the students and the younger kids. What's it been like? Because what type of equipment and what do they need to be exposed to even get interested in this world?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly been at the college level because of things like what you just said. There's definitely, everything we do is digital. So you need to have, the computers and the programs and things like that. We don't do too much traditional hand-drawn, like on pencil or, like pencil and paper. But I could see us in the future doing some of that stuff. We could do some more hands-on traditional, they call it traditional type animation. But for the most part, we've done stuff with, like I said, CCS and Wayne State. And that's where that's kind of our bread and butter, because they do have access to that stuff. But I think if a young person is interested in this type of thing, I think the starting point when they're young is like books, reading up on it, doing research, and just like practicing drawing, because that's a huge part of what we do. It's art and design and animation. It's all entangled together. So,
who are some of the companies you've done work for?
Recently, we just did a big job for Disney Plus, which we're very excited about. We just put that up on our website. We're doing some work with Facebook and Instagram right now. Dave & Buster's has been a main client of ours for years now. We've been working with them. Locally, we've done stuff with Rocket Mortgage, StockX, a lot of the family of companies over there. So we spread it out. We try to do a lot of good things here and there, change up our styles and deal with a lot of different people. So
in some of the work that you're doing, would we find it in a commercial, or are they mainly using your work on their social media platforms?
I would say a lot. It's a mix of both. Dave and Buster's, some of our national brands, that's commercial work. You see it on TV broadcast. Other things like obviously Facebook, Instagram, that's all digital, social platforming stuff. And some of it's on like websites and things explaining who companies are or what they're about, different little things like that.
Andre Foster and Guy Allen with us here on the MegaCast. They are co-founders for First Fight. It is a Detroit animation studio. Andre, what advice do you give to young people looking to go into your arena?
I would say just learn as much as you can, and just be open to what this industry has. I think when I first got into this, because what Guy and I went to CCS for was totally different than what we're doing now. But I think over the years, you try to evolve, and then you try to learn as much as you can, and then you just adapt. I think it's still in the same arena of fine arts, but I think by us staying open and being making good relationships with different people and constantly learning, I think that's what's kind of helped us. So what I would say for people who are coming out of school today, I would just say, just stay open and to different ideas and constantly keep learning and evolving, to be a better artist.
And when you say constantly learn, technology is constantly changing. How do you guys keep up with it? I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, it's almost frustrating because it kind of feels like when you get one thing down and there's something else, 10 minutes later.
Right.
So it's very hard, but even though the technology changes and it shifts, at the core of what we do is all about the messaging and the story. And I think that as long as we focus on that, no matter how you show it and how you execute it, the core thing is the idea and how well you do it.
Well, we wish the two of you continued success, and we hope to see that this arena continues to grow right here in Detroit. It's like you said, there was that hope a few years ago, and then that kind of went away, but we are starting to see more businesses come into Detroit because the marketing, the market for housing some of the companies is a little bit cheaper than New York and LA. So we're so great that you guys have decided to stick around.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.